Crystal and it's the weekend, yay! So that means I'm doing a video. Today I am just going to be speaking about my role as conveyancing assistant. I have been in this role for about 5 years now and I am due to start my training contract on the 1st of September. So that's about 2 weeks away now. Yeah, when I first started in 2018 it was pre-COVID, so I was going into the office quite a lot. Well, by quite a lot I mean every day. And then getting my work done. Sometimes you'd work weekends, whereas now it seems like there's a bit more flexibility in the industry. So with hybrid working, for example, the firm I work at has hybrid working, so you can go in like a certain amount of days a week depending on what you've agreed with your team, and then work at home or work in the office, and it is really convenient. It fits around your work-life balance. I personally go into the office every day just because I prefer being around people and I like separating that home and work life. And because the office isn't too far from me, just walking distance, it's just nice for me to get out of the flat in the morning after the working day. I can just know that I'm coming home and I can relax and I can do whatever I want to do and chill in the evening. So I do feel like when I first started, conveyancing was very different, but I don't think that's just specific to conveyancing, is it? Because I think that applies more to office jobs in general now. If you're working using a laptop and you can work remotely, then I think most employers are giving people the option to do that. So I worked in Tesco over the festive period. I've worked in a fried chicken takeaway, which was quite long hours on an evening after classes at uni. I also had a role working for an insurance company in Leeds, and I found that was really useful. It was a 21-hour part-time contract, and I worked there for just a year whilst I was doing my undergraduate masters. I think just an office environment in general, it's quite different, and you need to try and maintain your concentration, which can be quite hard. Like when you've got uni, your day is broken up. You've got your classes at certain times and then you might have a big gap in the middle of the day and then you're back to work, whereas 9 to 5 job, it's usually work from 9 o'clock till lunchtime. You've got a 1 hour break and then the rest of the day until around 5, or sometimes you might do a bit of overtime. So I think that transition was just quite a challenge to get used to. I've got plenty of client exposure, so it's a job where you're constantly having to call people like clients, mortgage brokers, estate agents, any other third parties like solicitors, and just there's a lot of people involved in conveyancing. It was maybe only about a month or so in, and then I was already doing things like exchange of contracts. From an assistant perspective, I'm told this is what you need to do, but I think it helps if you ask questions and you try and understand why someone is doing what they're doing, rather than just I'm doing it because I'm told to. I remember I got so stressed over my first exchange of contracts, and when I did a legal practice course in the classroom, like just role play basically with another fellow student, it was a case of like we were just reading off a piece of paper, like you kind of half understand it but it's like it's not like the real thing. And then when I was doing it in a real workplace, the exchange of contracts, it all just seemed like, oh my god, like if I mess this up then I'm going to be in trouble, so I need to get it right. And I just remember getting a bit of a kerfuffle about it and thinking I need to make sure I do this right. But nowadays it's like it doesn't even faze me. Like my boss will be on annual leave and I'll be doing exchange of contracts for properties over £1 million, and I've done about maybe 4 or 5 of those in the past few months where my boss has been on annual leave, and then I'll just be doing exchanges like it's just normal. I had one recently, and even though I have done quite a few which are in the millions, I'm still checking over the information, making sure that I've not missed anything. I find it really helps, especially if you have only done something a few times, to just not get comfortable. I always do it, make sure I follow the same system. When I take authority, I have a set template that I follow for myself. I ask the client for confirmation over email, what's the property address. Well, I don't ask them what the property address is, I know that, but a bullet point. So I say, can I have your confirmation that I have your authority to exchange and complete, and can you check that these following details are correct? So it'll be like the address of the property, the purchase price or the sale price, confirming it's vacant possession, or if not, then what tenancies are included, that they're happy with the condition of the property on exchange, and just any other factors, like if they've agreed to an indemnity policy, I just remind them that you've agreed to this indemnity policy. And I think most importantly is making sure that they are aware that once you exchange, then the completion date is legally binding, and just reminding them of what they're entering into. So imagine you get into work, you know that you've got some completions that day, people moving house, and you think, right, these are the things that I need to get done today, and then suddenly you've got people asking you for updates, like estate agent calling you, people calling you on your colleagues' matters, might be away from the desk, and then suddenly you're on the phone updating them. You've got clients asking for updates, mortgage brokers, so many people trying to communicate with you on a daily basis, and you still need to get those priority tasks done. It can, I think at first it can be quite overwhelming. There are times where you think it's quite hard to manage, but you just need to focus on what is important and what you need to get done that day. So ultimately, in conveyancing, the most important things are getting your completions done, getting your exchanges done. Over the years, I have taken on my own cases, so I think I've had over 20 files in the past 5 years. I know it's not a lot, but I've worked on sales, purchases. If you are thinking of starting a role as a conveyancing assistant, or trying to decide what area of law you want to go into, maybe it is worth considering whether conveyancing is a good starting point, just due to the exposure that you have and the amount of responsibility that you can get as well from the job as a whole. And I think because it's such a fast-paced industry, it means that you are probably going to develop at a faster pace, and I think overall that will make you a better lawyer in general for when hopefully you do decide to qualify as a solicitor in future. So I just want to say thank you for listening, and if you have any further questions or anything about conveyancing or being an assistant or paralegal, or just anything legal related in general, so not legal advice obviously, but anything from my student experience or how I found things, like getting a training contract, then just feel free to drop me a message or leave me a comment below. I'm going to be going out this evening, so I'm looking forward to that. It's a weekend, I'll have some fun. See you later.